South Africa take on Pakistan, and I would like South Africa to obviously win this match. It's a serious match for South Africa, in my opinion, as a fan, because I want us to win every match going into this knockout. I want us to be the only unbeaten team going into the knockout stages, and I'm hoping that that can happen. And I hope that South Africa can really take advantage of I would say the low confidence of Pakistan currently. I would say because recently there's a lot that's been happening with the team, and we're going to be discussing this on today's show. Now, don't forget we did do a show earlier on with Prashna Kasi, who's a journalist from Pakistan, and we also spoke to HD. So go ahead and go look at that as well. There's a video there to give you a Pakistan perspective, but we're going to come here with a South African perspective, of course, and we're going to chat about this game. Looking forward to it, guys. I hope that you guys will enjoy this episode. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, please, and the notification bell for all future videos. It's really important that you do so. Also, I would like you to download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. KG is the front cover. The stories in this magazine are still relevant for this World Cup. You can learn from this even after the World Cup. So please go ahead and download it and read it. Every back issue is 100% free too. And you can learn from all the back issues too. So please go ahead and go read all of our magazines when you have the chance. If you want some light reading, whether you're sitting on the toilet, you want to read something, this is the perfect thing you can read. So go ahead and go download the latest issue of that. We'd also like you to help us promote and grow South African cricket, please. That's very important. The link is on the screen right now to become a Patreon and in the description. Also go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all regular updates. Now, let's get into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing everything with you guys and previewing this particular match. It's going to be a big one. A very good evening. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is not your daily show. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with South Africa versus Pakistan. And South Africa will be playing Pakistan tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And we obviously going to hope that we can get a victory out of this, because it's obviously going to be a match for confidence, of course. A match where we're hoping that we can get I want to see some changes with regards to the way we face the opening overs on this particular ground. Okay, it's the same ground that we smashed Bangladesh. So it depends. I think the toss is going to be probably very, very important for this match. I think batting first on this wicket seems to be the way to go. We've got Nazir with us as well now. Welcome to the show, brother. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get straight into it. I spoke to Prashna earlier on, and she mentioned earlier already about Fakhar Zaman missing, obviously, for the match. And I was a little bit happy about that. Not that the fact that he's injured, but that he's not going to be playing against South Africa. And the reason I say that is because he's given South Africa trouble in the past. The series, when he came down here, he completely destroyed us. We could all remember that. Fakhar Zaman, his name was just called out by so many commentators, etc. So it was something that was a big problem. But still, for me, the biggest threat for me still is Babar and Rizwan at the top of the order. I think they're the type of players that, even though they're off form, it takes one game, because Pakistan is, you never know. I've said it, it's an unpredictable threat. You never know what's going to be happening with Pakistan. They could come out as like world-class players tomorrow, or they could come out like they've been throughout the tournament. So let's get your views, guys. I want to hear your views going into this match. How are you guys feeling as fans now heading into this match? Let's start with you, Emily, and then go to Nazir.
I think it's like what you said, like it's very unpredictable. I'm not sure what to expect from Pakistan. Like, I know they're going to come out hard. Well, I think they're going to come out hard because obviously they haven't been in the best form. So I think their openers are going to come out fighting. But I still am a little bit unsure as to what's actually going to happen, whether we are going to do really well against them right from the start, or whether they're going to come back, fighting right from the start. So I'm a bit unsure. Either it's going to be all guns blazing or we're going to be dominating. So, but I'm pretty confident that we'll get the win. I'm just not sure how close it's going to be.
I know, Nazir, that we have a problem, obviously, against a particular type of discipline. Ashwani is with us as well now, so we've got a full panel. We struggle against a certain discipline, and that's swing bowling. Now, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and we spoke to Fidos yesterday as well at the event, and she mentioned it to us as well, where she said he has a little bit of an injury. Brashna also mentioned it to us as well. He said it before the game that he's struggling with a little bit of a back injury or something like that. But he's come out since after the Netherlands game to say that he's feeling that the medical staff at least said he's medically cleared, but there are certain match fitness things that he still needs to get through, of course. But to me, he's still a danger if he can move that ball. I know that this is probably a spinning track. A lot of people would say that you play two spinners on this track. But who's the bowler that you are most afraid of? Is it the raw pace of the likes of Ralph, etc., in their team, or is it more of a 3D that can swing the ball up front?
Yeah, so I think after Shaheen Shah Afridi's injury, he hasn't had the pace that he had before his injury, so that makes it a bit easier to play the swing. I don't particularly think we will struggle too much against him with the slower pace, but he is a threat. He's a good bowler, no doubt about it. Before the tournament started, assuming he was going to be full fitness, I predicted that he was going to be one of the star players in the tournament. But with the slower pace, I think it makes it easier to play him. Uh, so far in this tournament, I think there's been no substitute for a raw pace. That being said, I think Haris Rauf is a big threat. But like you said, you quite adamant we should win this game, and it seems like you're a bit nervous about the game. On the other hand, I'm not too worried about this game. We can lose it. I wouldn't be too phased. I'm sure we're gonna beat Netherlands. Like I'm gonna watch it, of course, and I want us to win. But if we if we perform decently and we lose, I'm not too phased, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I just don't want the team's mentality to now be
You don't want
shocked
them
by
to
or
have my
lose.
mentality.
Yes, I don't want them to have your now joking. Look, I don't want what I don't want to happen is I want them to keep momentum, man. And with this Proteas team, I'm just a little bit scared. I'm always will be, but I know that with the way Temba is and the way he approaches things, he does have a way of keeping people focused and together. So I'm hoping that will happen. It's actually good that the rest of the team's actually supporting him currently while he's struggling in a way because he's struggling at the moment and they kind of winning games with him performing poorly. So Ashwani, let's get your thoughts on this particular match. I wanted from a South African perspective first before we move on to Pakistan. How does South Africa go ahead and beat Pakistan? I know that they have a lot of issues in the team currently, but I still think they will hold a threat, particularly Shadab Khan as well. And I think Asif Ali's might, I think, also come into this particular team now that Fakar Zaman is out. He likes to play against South Africa too because I mean his time in the Mzansi Super League, he's a really funny guy. I really enjoyed hanging out with him. But he likes the South Africans and he plays pretty decent in this week on these type of wickets. I feel.
Yeah, first of all, hello to everyone. Yeah, coming to I think the match between Pakistan and South Africa, which happened to be in Sydney. I think the wicket is very much like subcontinent style wicket, which we saw in Sydney and obviously in Adelaide too. And I think Pakistan can play well in this ground. And the openers, which are you can say they're circumspect in these conditions in Australia, I think they can play well in these conditions. Especially the guy like Mohammad Rizwan, because his mostly games is like uh, mid wicket region. He played mostly shots in the mid wicket region. So I think in that area, Sydney's ground is little bit small there. So I think he can target there. But I think Pakistan has missed one factor there. I don't know why they don't play Mohammad Hasnan, because that guy is also playing in the BBL along with Mohammad Harris, and that guy is very rapid. he can bowl around 150, 145 to 150 pace. So I think if Shaheen is not fit, obviously I know Shaheen is the X factor there, but I think his length, that penetrating length which he bowled in the opening over, I think his speeds is below 140. If you saw in that previous World Cup in 2021, his opening overs fell is above 140 speeds, and also
Yeah.
swinging with that speed, he is very threatening there. But I think he is short of match fitness, and due to lack of match fitness, I think his rhythm is not getting there. So I think what Pakistan has to do, I think I would like to see Mohammad Hassan in the playing 11. I think he can be deadly dangerous bowler with the new ball.
What I want to ask as well is it, Emily, is it as simple as just taking out Babar and Rizwan? Because I've seen a narrative like that. I mean, I actually pushed it just here and there, but I've seen a narrative around that. That is it. If you get them out, South Africa will probably get into a strong, obviously, into a more winning position. That middle order is probably the one aspect of Pakistan that is probably people would might say is weaker. When Babar and Rizwan don't fire, they struggle to maybe kick on and really get high totals. What's your thoughts on that?
I look, I don't think getting out two openers is going to guarantee you that you win the game and you get them out for a low score. So, I mean, it might make it a bit easier to then ball them out or to restrict the runs then, because obviously we know that Baba and Rizwan are very like strong at the top, and obviously usually get them off to a good start. Maybe not this World Cup, but usually get them off to a flying start. So it might be easier to restrict them then, but you can't necessarily think you're going to roll over the rest of the team just because you got the two out quickly. So I think the middle order will be fighting and will try and put up runs. So I don't think you can necessarily just assume that you can roll them out quickly if you get the top two. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nazir, you know what is weird to me is that the wickets here are actually perfect for someone like Babar and Rizwan. They don't need to play at a high strike rate. They can play through the lines and they can uh, play good cricket strokes like they do. So it's strange that they're struggling. So it's clear that they're out of form, and that's what worries me about this match. Is I don't want to get embarrassed by these two in this match now going into a knockout stage. So how do we handle these two if they're on form?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, the Pakistan middle order is their weakness. I think one of the reasons for that is, I don't know if you remember, like when Pakistan were dominating T20 cricket about 2, 3 months ago, and the time before that, it was Babar and Rizwan scoring all their runs at the top of the order, with the middle order barely having a chance to bat. And when I was watching that, I was like, this could be a problem for them. They don't really, this middle order is not getting a chance. They're coming into bat for like 2 overs, and when Baba and Rizwan were batting like this, their strike rates weren't an issue. Their partnership that they had commended each other. They commended each other really well. I think it's a matter of they two class players, and I think it's just a matter of time until they fire. And once they do, it's going to be dangerous for the opposition. I do think, however, it's a bit too late for them. Uh, but hopefully, it's not against us. We'll see. I think we have a bowling attack to definitely put them under pressure in the first 6 overs, and it won't be easy for them. Like, if they're going to perform, this is going to be a difficult task for them to do, but it's a matter of time.
Ashwani, not only from a batting perspective, but Shadab Khan, can we talk about him, Khan, a little bit as well? Because he's done really well against South Africa in South Africa, and he also did really well against South Africa in Pakistan. So he seems to know exactly how to face us with a bat and ball, actually. So what's your thoughts on him as a player, and how pivotal is he or key is he to Pakistan?
Yeah, I think he plays that similar role which Hardik Pandya plays for India. Obviously, Hardik Pandya is a fast bowling all rounder. He's a spin bowling all rounder. I think he plays that similar role. And I watching Shadab from 2016 Under 19 World Cup, where I think Vian Mulder is also in that playing in that World Cup, and also Rishabh Pant. So I think Shadab, I saw his batting potential there. So I am not surprised by his batting potential, because batting potential is from his teenage days and younger days. He can bat too. But I think his worrying point was his leg spin, which I think due to his back issues, he lost a little bit chip there. But in the past 1 year, I think he get that mojo back, and now he's a complete cricketer. I think Pakistan should bat Shadab at number 5 position, and I think it is very suitable to him, and he can play that role of floater, and he can also play that dap shots, sweep, and every shot he in his book. And I think when Mickey Arthur was Pakistan's coach, he compared with him Steve Smith. I think that is too early, because Steve Smith also started as a leg spinner too. So I think he has that trait, and he can be the vital coke, especially in that Sydney ground. And in the past 2 matches, he done really well for Pakistan.
Mm. Anybody else want to chip in? No? Okay, cool. So what I want to say is let's talk a little bit about Temba and approach. I just want to, because we know he's going to play, so I don't want to get into this whole debate about Temba and this, that, and that, and should play, shouldn't play. He's playing. So I think the approach needs to be spoken about. My concern about Temba throughout this World Cup T20 is not the fact that he's not getting runs only. It's more the fact of the way he's losing his wicket. He's not necessarily playing a natural game, which I think if he plays his natural game, he'll at least get some decent runs on the board. Maybe he won't get hundreds or 50s or what like we want him to do, but at least he can get those 30s and 40s if he can just play good cricket shots. We all call him a good test player. Everybody uses that as an excuse. No, he can't play white ball, but he's a good test player. Sometimes you need to play some good test shots in these particular circumstances. At Perth, it was the perfect conditions for him. We are looking at the CSA T20 challenge. The conditions are very difficult. The ball isn't coming onto the bat as quickly. And batters like today, Deva Brevis had to maybe play a little bit more of a calm game. And it's similar in the World Cup, where a lot of those batters that have high strike rates are maybe coming out with that aggression, and where they need to tone it down a little bit and just play natural strengths. What are your guys' thoughts on Bavuma's approach? And Nazir, let's start with you, and then we go Emily, and then Ashwani.
It's a tough one because I think that in T20 cricket, uh, 8 out of 10 times you're gonna have to play more attacking, and those 2 times you're gonna have to apply yourself a bit more, get the singles, and things like that. Uh, when I watched New Zealand the other day and I saw Kane Williamson's innings, I don't think that was a good inning. I think it could have cost him the win. Many people could disagree, but personally, in T20 cricket, 8 times out of 10, I don't think 40 and 40 is a good innings. There is a few times where that's the way you have to do it, but I think that's a rare occasion. What I think Temba should do going into this game, since it's a not a high pressure game, I think he needs to bat. He needs to stick it in there, even if he's not on a lot of runs after 10 balls. I just hope he's still there after 10 balls. Play himself in, get into some form, get bat on ball, and maybe hopefully after a while try to play some big shots. But he's definitely going to play for the rest of the tournament. I highly doubt he's going to get dropped. So what's important, in my opinion, is that he gets game time. He gets some time in the middle, and the only way he's going to do that is by playing good cricket shots and his natural game, which I personally don't think is perfect for T20 cricket.
Yeah, and it's not working for him at the moment. He's been struggling to find that form. I mean, Emily, the ideal situation would be if he's running between the wickets, playing singles, etc., rotating the strike, and then Quinton de Kock is striking at the other end. If Quinton de Kock has a strike rate of 150 and he gets a strike rate of 100, for example, that's a strike rate in a nice 200 to a 250 range. So you striking as a partnership, as a pair, 250, which is what Eric Simons actually spoke to us about and said. And I didn't actually think of it before like that, because we as fans think of individual players and the individual strike rates, because obviously you're going to look at it like that, because if one fails, then the other one needs to be able to attack. But I want to look at this as a partnership approach. I think they need to think of it as a partnership approach. Bavuma and Quinny need to constantly be in conversation. And I've always said that I feel that Bavuma's calmness can really get the best out of Quinny. Because I think that Quinny sometimes loses his head and does what he did the other day. So your thoughts on that and the partnership, and if you've ever heard that from coaches, if coaches have ever told you that in the T20 format?
I 100% agree with what you're saying. I actually also only recently heard about it. I don't know if you watched today's game, Bangladesh game. It was exactly that. So Listen Das was going at like 200, 250, and his partner was going at under 50. So I mean, the commentator, I think it was Harsha Bugle, he said, you don't have to individually both be going at 200. If the partnership is doing well and you contributed 5 out of the 60, which I think was today's situation, then that's fine. If you have 60 after the power play and one of you scored 55 of those, the partnership is still doing well. So I think you're making a good point there in that, because we know Quinny, his natural game is to play over the top and to play powerful shots and to come out just hitting boundaries most of the time. That's how he plays. So I think if he just plays his natural game and Timber just looks to rotate the strike, I mean that's perfect. That's perfect, because if if Timber's maybe just playing to get Quinny on strike, that's okay. As long as Quinny is then firing. If they're both not firing, that's where the problem is going to occur. But if one of them is at least firing, then I don't think Timber should try and push unnecessarily or try and play shots that aren't his natural shots. He shouldn't try and look do anything that's fancy or funny or unnecessary. He should just do what he normally does, and that's play the drives and take the singles and play his game that he normally plays, which is looks so good when he plays it. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Definitely, yeah.
It almost seems like the pressure of the public and what they expect from him is getting a little bit too much for him. That's why you will see this rashness of him from him, which is unlike him actually. Normally, in domestic cricket too. He plays that way. He takes his time. He bats through the innings, bats late. That's how he won the final for the Lions, scoring 100. He took his time, batted through the innings, survived it, and then ended up winning the game. Nobody, and for Mzansi Super League, exactly the same thing. Even though his team was crap, he was playing pretty well. He kept his composure. He played pretty well. Ashwani, you want to add to that? And then Nazir, I saw your hand go up, so you can add to that afterwards.
I think what I dissect about Tamba's game, I think he takes time, which you all said, but I think I would like to say that he should go with the intent. Obviously, I talk about KL Rahul in previous podcast that goes into the shell. Obviously, I don't compare both of the players, but I think if Tamba go with that positive intent, obviously that I have to score around 20 to 25 runs, or you can say that 15 to 20 runs. I have to score quick 15 to 20 runs, which can be valuable for my team. I think that will be enough for me. Obviously, we want that Temba play long. He scored 50, 30, 40, or 50 runs. But I think his quick 15, 20 will be more valuable for me. Instead of he scores around 50 runs, I think, which can be disadvantage for South African team. Nazir obviously give the example of Kane Williamson, who scored around 40 in 40 balls, and New Zealand lost at where. I don't want Tampa is going to that situation. I want that he scores around 15, quick 15, 20, and that's his job done. And I think it will be beneficial for South Africa and rest of the other batsmen. Yeah.
Nazir.
Yeah, so we spoke about the partnerships and the striking in partnerships. I agree with it somewhat, but I think it becomes tricky when the one batsman
Yeah.
is uh, piling up a lot of dot balls, and it puts a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on the other batsman, in this case Quinton de Kock. And I don't think Quinton de Kock plays that well in normal circumstances when all the pressure is on him and he needs to hit every ball for 6 or 4. I don't think that benefits
Nope.
us as a team. If you look at how Quinton de Kock played when Riley Rousseau and him had a good
Yeah.
partnership, Quinton de Kock kind of played the lesser role in terms of strike rate, and that I can't remember properly what he was striking at, but I think if Temba can play what Quinton's role was in that game, that's beneficial. I think if you're
Mm.
piling up dot balls and getting maidens, and I don't think that's a good partnership, even if 1 out of 5 times it comes off because Quinton
Mm.
can hit 20 and over. Most of the time, he's not able to do that, and he's probably going to end up getting a six. And because he needs to hit the next ball out the park as well, he's probably going to be out. So I do agree with that somewhat, but there needs to be some judgment call in how far that can go.
Yeah, and that's why I said they just need to. He needs to simplify his game a little bit, Bavuma. Just simplify it, take it down, and just focus on finding the gaps and running between the wickets, rotating the strike. The aim should be to get Quinton de Kock to face as many balls as possible to get his eye in, not necessarily to go and smack the ball every single ball. But Quinton de Kock is a type of player that takes some time to sometimes get in, and then he kicks on. So I'm happy with either or. So let's see what happens with regards to those two. Let's move on to the rest of the team because I mean Riley Rousseau on this particular wicket, it's perfect wicket for
Yeah.
him. I hope that he bounces back from the duck. But Aiden Markram played really a good knock. I think it's a good wicket for him too. David Miller, Tristan. I'm hoping Tristan Stubbs can do something in this game against Pakistan. He's a very good player of spin as well. So I think that battle between him and the spinners of Pakistan is going to be an interesting one if he gets the opportunity to do so. Who are the other people that you're really excited to see from a South African point of view? Ashwani and then Nazir and then Emily?
I think obviously I would like to see Tristan Subs more. He didn't get too much because of opening pair and middle orders, so he bat a little bit low. And I think his role is very much likable to Tim David, what Tim David is doing for Australia and Tristan Subs for South Africa. So I think I saw Tristan Subs more because big fan of these Mumbai Indians guys, Tristan Subs, Devald Brevis. So I think it will be a lethal combination in the future. So yeah, I am little bit greedy in terms of saw Chisel Subs more at number 4 or 5, but I think it will not be possible. He will come at 6. And one player really like to see more, that is Eden Markram. I would like to see him. He scores big 70 or 80 runs. Uh, uh, what I saw his innings against Australia in 2018. He looks $1 million player there. I don't know what happens to after him, but I think I think he works on his game very well against spin. I think in IPL and with Mark Boucher, he's really good player of spin nowadays. So I think this wicket will suit his style of play, and I like to see Adam Markram how he performed there.
Eddie Markham actually messed around with his stance a little bit in Test cricket, particularly. You could see it
Yeah,
against
yeah, yeah.
India. You could see it against India. He was like middle, then he was leg, then he was off, then he didn't know where to
Yeah,
stand anymore.
yeah,
That
little
ball
bit
across.
confused in his technique.
Yeah, because against Australia, the difference is against Australia is that those balls that were going past him and away from his body or cross off stump, he was smacking that to the boundary. Now
Yeah,
in
his
Test cricket,
punches are excellent. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So he was putting those balls away, and now the difference is he's getting nicked off by them, and that's when he changed it. And also the swing against teams like England and stuff. When we started playing quality swing bowlers, that's when we get caught out because we don't face that type of quality swing in South African conditions. There's only a couple of bowlers in domestic cricket that actually swing the ball properly in first class cricket, for example. So that's a problem. Whereas in the subcontinent, for example, you guys produce quite a few swing bowlers, and in
yeah,
your 4 day competition, etc., you're gonna face that quite often. So, and in England, even worse, in the county scene, you definitely gonna face it. So we don't
yeah,
get that. I mean, I would say probably at the moment one of our best domestic young swing bowlers is probably someone like Tando Ntini. He's a guy that
yeah.
can manipulate the ball, but he doesn't have the pace to match it, and that's
Yeah,
where
I
he
think
gets smacked.
I saw Otil Bartman. He looks really promising too.
Otni Butman as well. And Clinton
Yeah,
Steerman swings he doesn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
swing the
Strongman.
ball. It's more of a Steerman moves the new ball off the seam quite
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Very good. He's Steerman for example, is a new ball bowler, first spell bowler. He always majority of the
Yeah.
times he takes his wickets in his first spell. His second spell is almost always slows down when the ball gets a little bit old. So South Africa knows how to play the ball that's moving off the seam. Okay, I think a little bit better than when it's moving. The problem why they didn't do it against Bangladesh, not Bangladesh, who did they play now? Yeah,
India.
against India against no, no, it wasn't against India, man. Who was it when
Yeah,
against England?
Pakistan.
Sorry, sorry, no,
Yeah.
against England. The reason why we couldn't do it
Okay.
against England in the second test is because they
Okay.
misread the fact that the ball is not swinging and it's moving off the seam. And that was a bad judgment, and every single person fell for that, the entire
Okay.
top order. So we need to work on ways. I don't know how. I don't know if it's going to have to do with training or sending people on camps, etc. But they're gonna have to find a way now. And luckily, some of our younger batters for example, Grant Rulofsson, for example, some of those guys like Matthew Brzezinski, for example, they've gone to England and experienced it
Yeah.
there.
Experience.
And they brought that information back to them. Go look at this T20 challenge. I don't think anybody's actually picked this up. This actually relatively came to my head right now. But if I think about it, Brzezinski did well this tournament. Grant
Yeah.
Rulofsson did well this tournament. Vian Mulder did well this tournament. There's a lot of players that went to county that are doing well in these
Yeah.
conditions. There's a reason for that. It's
Yeah.
because they are obviously facing those type of bowlers there. Nazir, you can add on to that.
Yeah, I think the only way we can get better with this is being consistent with our team selection, especially in Test match cricket. Even though playing more seam in or swing in domestic cricket can help, you are not going to get bowlers from two ends swinging the ball, bowling good areas very often, hardly ever. So I think the way you get that is by consistency through the test team. I'm not seeing a lot of consistency in our test team at the moment. I think like guys like Rickelton, he's in and out. He's not getting a chance to bat, say, yes, 7 games, whatever you do, you do. We're backing you for 7 games. I think that's how, and also county cricket. Uh, as you said with Vian Mulder, but it's done it more in the shorter format now. I think he was like player of the tournament in the One Day Cup there. So that clearly does help. But I think, yeah, consistency and time is what we need in our team selection.
Quick comment over here before you talk, Emily, from Lorenzo. He says, Harley, the president has been set now. I just hope Alga will get the same treatment from the selectors and from the public, stating that Temba don't have to score runs. Well, that's currently happening at the moment. Alga hasn't been scoring runs in a very long time. I think it's 13 innings without a half century, and they're still keeping him as a captain. Nobody's called for his head. Nobody said that he should be dropped as captain. Nobody said that he shouldn't be in this 11, that he can't play test cricket. Nobody said that. He's been 13 innings without a full half century. I think it's even more than that right now. So the president has been set, and the treatment has been the same from CSA. They have actually been consistent. It's us that are fans that haven't been. That's actually the truth. Because not all fans, the pockets of fans. Because from my perspective, the CSA has been very consistent with giving people opportunities to get into form. Aiden Markram has been getting the chances. Heinrich Klaassen, when he was struggling, got given chances. Even back in the day, Riley Rousseau, when he got Aiden Markram is another person, yes. Back in the day, even with Riley Rousseau, when he got those double ducks on his debut, and he got a couple of bad scores, and then he went on. They kept persisting with him. See, South Africa seems to be a type of team that has done that, and Bouch has been the type of person that has been doing that. Even how many chances did Andile Peklekwaye get until he was completely left out of the team? So it's a similar. It has been consistent. I think it's because of the debate and the differences within the fans that makes it seem like that the selectors aren't doing that. Nazim?
Yeah, I think there's a slight difference between Dean Alga and Temba Bavuma in this situation, and the reason being is Dean Alga has proven himself in the Test arena, and I don't think Temba Bavuma has proven himself in the T20 arena at all. I know they're both off form of they're not having good performances at all, but another difference is Dean Alga, the test team doesn't have someone shouting their name at the top of the order, whereas in the T20 team we have Riza Hendricks, who's our top scorer this year. So there are differences, in my opinion, between the two in that situation.
So I would disagree there, because why I disagree there is because there is someone that is knocking on the door consistently, and that could possibly also be a leader, and that's Peter Malan. Peter Malan is a person that plays this type of brand of cricket that South Africa actually does need at the top of that order. He was knocking on that door, and then they actually were pretty unfair with him, actually. The fact that he got left out of that team after scoring an 80 against one of the only players to do well against that England side in that particular game, I thought that it was quite a shock to see him get dropped and then Sarl ever getting selected. I know Sarl has 100 to his name in New Zealand. So Calvo Reina also has 100 against his name in England. And since then, they've been struggling quite a bit. They haven't necessarily pushed on. So Dean Alga has been consistent. Yes, he has been the person in the past. But I think I think if we look at it a little bit more shallow, like the question was basically a little bit more shallow, um, than in depth than what you were speaking over there, then I would say that yes, we do give people opportunities, even though they don't perform. It's been consistent with South Africa for I've been seeing this for now a very long time. Emily, thoughts? Not I don't want to talk too much about Test cricket, but your final thoughts about this game. How are you feeling going into this? I asked you already how you feeling going into this game, but what do you think will happen? What does your gut tell you? Not what you want, but what does your gut tell you about tomorrow's game? All of you, I want you to answer that question.
My gut tells me that we'll win, but like it's going to be like close. It's going to go to the last over. So we're going to need like 10 of the last over to win if we chase it. That's what I'm going to say.
And if you bat first,
I don't know. I think it's either way for me. It's going to be tight. We're going to win, but it's going to be tight. I think. I might be completely wrong, but
no,
yeah.
we all speculating. It's no right or wrong answer.
But yeah, I'd love to see. I don't think it's going to happen this World Cup though. But I'd love to see Marco Jansen. Maybe for the Netherlands game they'll play him. But yeah, I just wanted to see how he would have done like in these conditions. Especially because he's obviously he's a very tall bowler and gets a slingy action, more slingy action than the others. So it would have been cool to see him bowl, but he probably won't. I think they're going to go with a very similar team. I don't know about Tavares and Kesh. Don't know if they're both going to play or just Kesh. I'm not sure there, but they'll go with a very similar team. And yeah, I just want to see the top order with a good partnership. I want to see Temba and Quinny with a 50 partnership. That would be great.
Lorenzo, just to answer your question quickly, at what point? It's not going to happen. It would have, if it was going to happen, it would have happened. It should have happened already, actually, but it hasn't happened.
Is he still going on about pulling the
Yeah.
plug? Didn't he said that in the last? He said that in like 3 shows ago. And he was like, "We need to pull the plug." Just like accept that it's not going to happen.
We just have to accept it now and support Temba. Let's go, Ashwani, and then I'm sorry, I forgot to prompt you guys. Ashwani and then Nazir to end off. Take us home as Nazir afterwards.
Yeah, I think Pakistan can give the strong fight to South Africa. If I think one of Babar and Rizwan clicks and both of them, then I think Pakistan can done well in this match. And I would like to see some changes in Pakistan team. If they can beyond their thinking, I think they can try Haider Ali at the top. I think this guy is a good player, but I think uh, he wasted himself. I think when in 2018 Under 19 World Cup, he and Shubman Gill both played in that Under 19 World Cup, and look at where Shubman Gill is at and where Haider Ali. I think Haider Ali when he first started his career, he's a very good red ball player, but now he's become a little bit of slower. I would like to see they play Haider Ali a little bit at the top. And from South Africa's team, I think I would like to see how Temba Bavuma play tomorrow. I would like to see him play with some positive intent. Obviously, many of them will be laughing at that, but I think Temba Bavuma should score 25-30, cook 25-30, and get South Africa to rollicking start.
Yeah, my gut feeling is that we're gonna lose and Temba's gonna score 40 or 30, and I'll be happy with that. I'll take that going into the Netherlands game and then the semi-finals, because it would mean that all of our batsmen have performed in some way or the other. All of our top 5 have performed some way or the other in the group stages, and I'll be happy with that. I do think we're gonna beat Netherlands. If we don't, I'm sorry, but I think we'll beat Netherlands, and don't stress about tomorrow. It's all right.
Yeah, let's be chilled about it, like Nazir. Maybe the Proteas should be chilled about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I think one point I want to raise. I think Netherlands team have half South African players, if I remember.
it might sound like that, yeah, because of their
Yeah,
names.
Brendan Glover, Rolf Vandermeer, that Stephen Myberg, Colin Ackerman. So I think
Yeah,
it's a half South African, South Africa versus South Africa.
yeah. They have more foreigners than Netherlands players actually in the team.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyway, so that's the true Rainbow Nation, you would say. Okay, so guys, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button and do all those things. Also, watch the other episodes. Also, go check what Faf had to say and Fidos had to say about the game. It's obviously in the Faf Book Launch episode as well. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, right directly after the game. To talk about the rest of this, the match, etc. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See you guys and enjoy the rest of your evening, please. I think there's Champions League tonight, so enjoy some of that, and we'll see you guys very very soon. Peace out.